Alright, so I work in a pretty popular retail chain known for its more adult-focused products, let's say. Mostly things like jewelry, adult toys, and some of the worst shirts you'll probably ever see in your life. And with retail, you're bound to come across some very interesting people. And these two stories are probably some of the most interesting I've really ever encountered. Story one starts off like, any other normal day, until this guy comes up to check out, and he's got a band shirt. Okay, fine. Pretty fine so far. But things take a very sharp left turn off a cliff when I ask this guy whether he'll be paying cash or card. And he must have heard me say cephalopod, which seemed like a totally fine currency to use on dry land and not mermaid land where he might have come from, when he pulls out of his pocket a half-dead octopus and places it on the counter. Now, let me say that this thing was still very much somewhat alive and was wriggling on the counter and secreting ink out of the bottom of it. And I look at it and then back to him, and all I can say is, "Sir, I can't take this." Instead of the obvious, where the hell did this thing come from? We're in a landlocked state, so you can't just go out into the tide pool in the water and get an octopus. You have to buy one. And really, the only place that sells octopus around this area are very, very expensive. So just where did he get the octopus from? There's so many questions about this situation that don't make sense to me. And this felt like an eternity to me, alright? And after telling him I can't accept his octopus, all he says is, "Oh, sorry," puts the octopus back in his pocket and walks away, leaving his shirt behind, along with a giant, sticky, dead octopus mess on my counter. And I felt like the shell-shocked guy, just standing there, just like, what the hell just happened to me? And really, after that, it was a pretty standard day, all things considered. But even now, this happened quite a while back, but that moment still lives fond in our hearts and mind as just how strange a customer can be. Story 2 also starts off a lot like the first one, where it's a very normal day to begin with, but things take a very, very sharp left turn off a cliff and dives us into a gorge and we all die. So like I previously said, our store is known for having a lot of jewelry for pretty much every part of the body you could ask for. And the thing about a lot of the more uncommon jewelry is they're all pierced at the same size. So keep that in mind for me for a minute. We just keep that in your back pocket. So this woman comes in and she starts asking me about the nipple piercings, which, whatever, very easy. They all come in the same size, not outside of my ballpark of information. So what I tell her is that all nipple piercings come in 14 gauge, which is the only size we carry, mind you. All right. She says, "Well, I'm really not sure about the size. That just looks a little too big." I'm like, "Well, honey, they're all the same size if you look at it right. Some just look bigger, but because of the decorations on it, but they're all the same size, trust me." She says, "Well, I'm really not sure. Could you just take a look at mine and see if that's the right size?" Which, mind you, let me say, not super uncommon in my field of work. I hear that actually quite a lot, but it's never happened until this day. So I turn around back to the case, and I'm just like, blah, 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 pointing out where all the jewelry is on the case area, all the sizes, when I hear a zipper sound come down, and I turn around, alright, and her titties are out. Now, thank God, she was covered with a mesh see-through shirt, but there she was right in front of me, titties out, and I just look for what felt like an eternity. But it was probably only 2 seconds. And I could just only think, just what could I do in this situation? And I felt like the only noise I could muster out was the Tim Allen grunt noise. But I look at them, I'm like, fine, whatever, I just want to get this over with. I sigh, I look at them and I say, "Yep, those are 14 gauge, ma'am." She says, "All right, thank you so much." She zips it back up and thanks me, and just starts looking at the jewelry while I'm trying to figure out what the hell just happened, if I should file for sexual harassment or something. She's there for 10 minutes and leaves like nothing happened. Dog, take me out to dinner before you flash me. My God. But yeah, that's retail for you. If you leave this video with any kind of message, it should be, the customer is always wrong. So, bye. Follow me here if you want to.